Hello and welcome to the Vancouver SEO Expert video series. My name is Anthony Shivkumar, the founder of ANTSAND, and today what I want to talk about is the difference between SEO and CRO and how you need both in order for your website or online presence to actually perform. So let's get started. What exactly is SEO? So SEO in a simple definition is nothing but putting more eyes onto your website. And where are these users coming from? They're coming from search. So it really helps you have more brand awareness, more visibility. And the technical definition of SEO is nothing but search engine optimization, which is to say you're optimizing your website so that it ranks higher on search, so that it brings more visibility, and as a result you could get more leads, more prospects, and eventually convert them to customers. So just because you have prospects and visitors coming and visiting your website does not mean you can convert these prospects to customers. And this is where the other definition or the other method in which you can optimize your website is called. It's called CRO. So CRO is conversion rate optimization. And CRO is way more complex than just making a beautiful website, which is to say, let me give you an example of, say, Amazon. Now, it's an e-commerce platform. It's got, pretty much everything under the roof that you want to buy is probably there on the platform. But it is not just the website that makes it rank, right? It's the efficiency in terms of, like, say, 2-day shipping. It's the conversion process is not just on the website. It's the whole company's strength, which could be how quickly they ship, the quality of their products, the quality of their systems, the way they actually do their customer service, and all of this helps in conversion. So just because their website loads fast, and if you did not get their product quickly, you would not use their service ever again, or you would probably be hesitant to use their service. So when you talk about conversion, you got to look at your whole company holistically. Like, how do you attract customers to all the way to you ship your product? And that's what conversion is all about. I often see a lot of my clients saying, my website does not perform. And a lot of the times it's not really a website issue, it's mostly a business issue, which is to say that customers have given bad reviews online because it was a faulty product or because of bad customer service, and then they say, why are we not able to attract more clients? Well, you got to fix something at a much deeper level, and it's not just fixing your website. But having said that, assuming that you have your processes in place, you have your systems in place, you got a great product, your customer service is great, it's only on top of that should you create and optimize your website. So it's always the first step is, when you're talking about conversion, is to look at your business holistically. Fixing and making a more attractive website is not a magic pill, or it's not a magic formula. So what makes a website convert? And that's when you go into the real research of optimizing your website. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So I think a few years ago, so Facebook was doing this particular A/B testing, which is basically having two versions of their website to different demographic, and they were trying to figure out how can they make more people pay for their advertisements. And what they realized was, just by introducing the word boost, they suddenly got increase in traction, which means they got more people clicking and paying for advertisements compared to, create advertisements or any other word that they were using. So just by changing the word, they were able to attract more people to buy advertisements for $5, $10 and whatnot. So that's where conversion can really help, increase. That's where optimization of your website for conversion can help, where you're changing a letter, or you're changing a word, or you're changing the color just to entice people to take action. But again, Facebook has a brand name. So if you just think in your business by changing a letter or changing a color, it's automatically going to give you business, it's not necessarily going to work, because people need to have a perception of your business for all of this to actually make sense. right? So if Facebook was a buggy website, they didn't have too many traction, they didn't have the trust of the people, and then they suddenly made a change in the color of the button or whatnot, they're still not going to get advertisement. People are not going to pay for advertisement. So you have to tap into the two minds of your customer. One is the psychological mind, which is how they perceive your brand, and the second is making the website conducive to making it easy for them to actually take action, and both go hand in hand. All right. So how does this fit into the overall? If you're a small business owner and you don't have a brand like all these big companies, how can you make your website actually convert? So one of the things to make it perform is go out there and ask for your clients to give you reviews and testimonials, because social proof generally helps in giving a good brand, basically promoting a brand through word of mouth, because now when others are wanting to use your service, they look at your reviews, and then that basically promotes them or entices them to actually choose your service or product compared to your competition. So that's number one. Another way you can actually improve your online presence is by doing a little bit of outreach program in terms of creating blogs and creating content so that you rank for a broader set of keywords. And now you're having SEO kick in as well as a little bit of CRO, which means when people search for questions related to the product or market that you serve, and if your blog rises, then they position you as an authority, and I mean that they perceive you as an authority. And once that happens, when they really want to buy a product or service, guess who comes to their mind? Your firm, your products. And these are these small little steps that helps in conversion. So now when they come to your website and then you have a decent looking website, it all helps in conversion. So first you got to tap into the psychology. Then how do you make a website actually convert? Which is when do you focus on making sure that you need to change this word or change this color so that it forces them to take action. One way to do that is doing A/B testing, which is to say that you give 50% of the visitors who come to your site one version of your website and 50% a completely different version, and you're changing the name and changing the text and whatnot. And it needs to be an e-commerce site, which means that page that you're trying to test should be a page where you're actually accepting money or accepting some form of action from the user or customer. Because that's what you want to test, whether your page is compelling enough to take action. And what I would do is make sure that the forms are very, very effective, which means that it's not buggy, it's not too, there's no glitch in your website. So make sure that the forms work, make sure the buttons work, make sure it looks decent, make sure it's mobile responsive, make sure that the text is visible and clear. And both these things are important not just for conversion, but it also helps you in ranking your website high. So if you really think about it, the action and strategies that you do to make your website look beautiful helps in both SEO as well as in CRO. So it's kind of like one effort, but you're basically hitting two birds with one stone kind of a thing. But that at the same time, it goes back to the main question. It does not mean because you have a great looking website that you're going to get more sales if your customers, prospects or whatnot does not perceive your brand as trustworthy. So in a nutshell, SEO is very tactical in the sense that you're focusing a lot more on making your website rank, and CRO is a little bit more strategical in the sense of how are you positioning your brand so that your customers and prospects perceive your brand as an authoritative, as trustworthy and whatnot. And you're building up more of the psychology aspects of your prospects so that they are inclined to choose your service. And that's the real difference in a nutshell. So that's what I tell my clients, best by making your website faster is not going to improve conversion. It's going to help in SEO, but it's not necessarily going to help in conversion. The definition of conversion is basically converting visitors into customers. So you're converting them from a prospect to an actual customer or a client. And that's the basic difference between what SEO is and what CRO is. So in a nutshell, if you have a conversion problem, you got to look at your business holistically. And if you're not ranking high on search, then there's a good chances that your website is a little buggy, which in the sense it may not be mobile responsive, the text is not clear enough, your page is very glitchy, and those are the kind of things that you want to fix. And there's one caveat to this. In terms of conversion, you're also making sure that your website has elements that forces the users to take action. And that could be, as I mentioned, your forms. That could be, your e-commerce button where they can pay now. Your maybe the call to action, maybe calling you or sending you an email and whatnot. You need to make sure that those attributes on your website are clear and visible, because if your customers do not know what action to take, you're not going to convert them. So it's a combination of having the tactical elements, which is the way the website needs to look, and as well as making sure that it has the like the proof and credibility, the testimonials, the reviews and whatnot. And if you have all these elements and your website is pretty flawless, and you're constantly testing it out, again, conversion requires a lot of testing, and you find the better version that performs, that pretty much is the process of conversion optimization. And all of this will also help you in ranking high, because at the end of the day, what does search want? Search wants to give you the best result for a particular keyword or key phrase users are typing. And if your web page can answer those questions clearly, then you basically, it helps. Search would want to rank your web page compared to any other website because it's got all the elements that the users are looking for. So by focusing more on conversion, you actually help in ranking higher on search. And that's really the hidden truth about about this definition, that if you aim for conversion alone, you have a better chance of ranking high on search. But if you just aim for search and ranking high on search, there is no guarantee that you will actually able to convert. Convert in the sense, convert prospects to customers. It's not conversion optimized. So if you found this video series or this episode enlightening, I highly recommend you to subscribe to this video channel, the ANTSAND Vancouver SEO Expert video series. You can also look us up on Instagram at ANTSAND_design. That's our hashtag. And you can also subscribe to our blog at blog.antsand.com. My name is Anthony Shivkumar, and till then, have a great day.